On this channel, you'll mostly see me building drones like this, and this. But this video is different. Today, we're going to check out a product from BetaFPV. This is their Aquila 20 FPV kit, which they sent me to test out. It's a beginner kit designed to be your first FPV drone, I think. And according to the BetaFPV website, you should be able to get in the air within just a few minutes. So that's the plan right now. Before we go through everything in this kit, I want to see how quickly I can get in the air and take it for a quick flight. Everything comes nicely packed in a solid bag that fits it all. You get the BetaFPV VR04 HD goggles, their own light radio 4, and the Aquila 20 drone. You also get some cables and an extra set of propellers, but we'll take a closer look at all of that in just a moment. But before I can fly the drone, we need to talk a bit about batteries. When you buy this kit, you get one battery for the drone and two 18650 2700 mAh batteries for the goggles. BetaFPV also offers extra batteries and a three-way charger, like the one I'm unboxing here. As for the radio, it has a built-in battery. The Aquila 20 uses two S high-voltage batteries with a capacity of 1100 mAh. The flight time they claim on their website is about 10 minutes, so with 3 batteries you can get close to 30 minutes of airtime. Let's start by putting in the batteries for the goggles. They go into the battery box on the strap, which also has an on and off button for the goggles. Alright, it's time to power everything on and see if it works straight out of the box. You turn on the goggles, the radio, and the drone by pressing once, then pressing again and holding it until it powers up. The drone battery has a locking mechanism that keeps it securely in place. The power button itself is located on the back of the battery. I'm always a bit excited when I try new goggles, wondering if they'll actually fit my Norwegian head properly, but the first impression is good. The only thing is that the middle head strap feels a bit tight. But I can see image in the goggles and I heard that the radio connected, so let's take a quick flight and see how it performs. These goggles don't include the OSD in the DVR recording by default, so I had to use a community app to add it. That's why the footage you're seeing looks a bit different, but I'll try to show you later what it actually looks like inside the goggles. Down in the bottom right, you can see which flight mode you're in and the speed. I'm a bit unsure if that's the actual speed of the drone or if it's indicating the rates. Oops, a bit of a rough start, but let's see if I can fly out without losing signal. It definitely feels a bit unfamiliar, since it's my first time testing both the drone and the Artlink FPV system, but it flies and it didn't take long to get it in the air for the first time. I'm flying in manual mode right now, since that's what I'm most used to. You can also fly in normal or sport mode. We'll take a look at the different options later in the video. Alright, let's head back in, since this was just meant to be a quick test, but I can already tell you can have a lot of fun with this drone. Pretty shaky flying here, but you really notice the ground effect on this drone and how it gets pulled towards the walls. Let's see if I can land without hitting myself in the head. Alright, so here you can see everything that comes with the kit. This is clearly a beginner kit designed for those who want to get into FPV and experience what it's like to fly a drone with an FPV camera without having to spend a fortune. But what makes this kit a bit special, and what really got me interested, is the new FPV system that BetaFPV has developed here. They have a new digital video system that comes in at a price range that, in many cases, is cheaper than analog. It's based on the ArtLink protocol, a system that several others are now using as well, and it opens up cross-compatibility across multiple manufacturers. BetaFPV also has a standalone VTX, the P1, designed for custom builds. That means if you buy this kit and later feel like building your own drone, you can keep using the same goggles. I hope they release a more powerful VTX as well, something designed for a 5-inch drone. I'd definitely be very interested in testing that. If we take a look at the goggles, I think these are really good box goggles. The fit is good, and there's very little light leakage around the edges inside. And there's also plenty of space for those who need to wear glasses inside the goggles. The power button is on the battery box. It also shows an indicator for how much charge is left on the battery. You can charge the batteries directly with a USB-C cable. When you turn them on, there's a red light on the front that flashes. When the light turns solid red, it means the goggles are connected to the drone. On top of the goggles, there are 3 buttons, one to start DVR recording, a back button, and a 5D button for navigating the menu. On the side, there's a USB port that lets you transfer recordings directly from the memory card. To show you what it looks like inside the goggles, I have to film inside them with my phone. Unfortunately, there's no way to output the video signal directly. You would need the Pro version of the goggles for that. But using the 5D button, you can navigate through the menu. For a full list of features, I recommend checking out the user manual. It explains all the functions in great detail. The radio transmitter you get in this kit is BetaFPV's own Light Radio 4. It runs ELRS and has a maximum transmit power of 100 milliwatts. You turn it on the same way as the goggles, a quick press followed by a longer press. As for buttons and switches, it has 2 2-position switches, 2 3-position switches, and 2 momentary buttons. It also has a bind button and a setup button on the underside along with the USB port. This radio can also be used for playing FPV simulators on a PC if you connect it to a computer. To configure the radio, you can download the BetaFPV configurator from their website. Since it runs ELRS, I'd also expect that you can bind it to other drones as well. When it comes to the Aquila 20 drone itself, you install the battery by pushing it into place until it locks in. The drone is made of a soft plastic that seems like it can take a bit of abuse. It's listed at 127 grams, so you're well under the 250 gram limit. To adjust the camera angle, you can simply move the camera without loosening any screws. It ranges from about 10 to 30 degrees. It's a 16:9 camera and gives you a field of view of 170 degrees. On the bottom, there's a USB port for the included cable. This cable comes with the kit and is mainly used for things like updating the VTX. Now, I'm going to take this outside and give it a proper test. The included case is actually really useful as well. Great for keeping everything together in one box. Alright, it's a bit windy outside, which you'll see in the footage, but there's not much I can do about that. I'll start by testing it in normal mode with slow rates. Normal mode is the absolute beginner mode. It's very slow. It works as a stabilized mode where there are limits on how much you can tilt the drone. I'm noticing that you can't switch flight modes while flying, so to change to sport or manual mode, you have to land first. While you can't change flight modes in the air, you can adjust the rates while flying. You can choose between slow, medium, and fast, which you can see in the bottom right corner. Changing the rates affects how quickly the drone responds to your stick inputs. Lower rates make the movements smoother and more gentle, while higher rates make the drone react faster and more aggressively to the same stick movement. When we switch to sport mode, the drone becomes much more aggressive, but there are still limits to how much you can tilt it, so you won't be able to do flips or rolls.
Money.
Going into manual mode, you no longer have any limitations. Manual mode is what is often also called acro. I often think it can be just as good to go straight into acro mode when learning FPV, since stabilized modes can feel quite confusing when you switch between them, and you'll usually end up in acro mode anyway. For a beginner drone, the Aquila 20 flies just fine. It doesn't have a lot of power, so that's something to keep in mind if you're trying freestyle moves or need to pick yourself up from a dive or something like that. But once you get used to the drone, it's really fun just to fool around with it. It's so small that it fits through most gaps, and because of the weight, you don't really have to worry about breaking anything. When it comes to the Artlink FPV system, I think it performs really well in this price range. The image is sharp, and even though the P1 VTX in the drone only transmits at 400 milliwatts, it's not an issue flying around houses or other nearby objects. The Artlink system is rated with a latency of 60 milliseconds. It feels a bit weird at first, but you get used to it pretty quickly. The durability of the drone is really good. I've come to the conclusion that it's almost impossible to break it, even though it might look like I've tried. What usually happens is that the camera angle shifts slightly after a crash, but you can just adjust it back into the correct position. Nothing gets damaged. But there's one thing I really miss on this drone, and that's a beeper. The drone is very small, and once you crash it, it can be a bit difficult to find it again. There were at least a couple of times during testing where I actually had to search for it before I found it, and the grass doesn't have to be very tall before it disappears completely. But all in all, I really enjoyed this drone. I caught myself several times just enjoying flying FPV, which is really what it's all about. And of course, you've got turtle mode, which works pretty well, as long as the grass isn't too tall and nothing blocked the props. That way, you can get back in the air again easy before your next crash. But all in all, I think this is a solid beginner kit. It gives you a great way to learn FPV and get a real feel for what it's like. The current price is $358, and I'll leave a link in the description. I also want to give credit to BetaFPV for investing in Artlink, a new FPV system, and I hope they release new VTX units that open up even more possibilities. Finally, if you're interested in this kit, check out the link in the description, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment.